逆流环境。
太刺激了！小张要知道，悉尼奥运会的时候，水道是300米，当时人们就以为那是最长的水道了。
要知道 you should know. In other words, what I'm about to tell you is important. 要知道 that this is 50 meters longer than the course at the Sydney Olympics. 你们要不要去试试啊? Would you like to give it a try? 要不要 do you want or not? Would you like?
一会儿你们要不要去试试啊？
啊，那我可不敢。
没事儿，一会儿让高老师用皮划艇带你去试试吧。
Xiaofang isn't enthusiastic at all about going, and she doesn't want a guide either. After all, the women's event is 单人皮艇, singles canoeing. There's no such thing as 男女混合 mixed doubles in this sport. But there is a 男子双人 men's doubles.
算了吧，好像女子项目只有一个单人皮艇，什么时候又多出了一个男女混合皮艇啊？小张，还是你去吧，你正好可以和高老师划男子双人划艇。高老师，您说呢？
我没问题。
Let's pause our language lesson there to talk a little bit more about the background of this sport. A whalebone and driftwood frame with a sea lion skin stretched tautly over it and waterproofed with whale fat hardly suggests a budding Olympic sport. Yet the kayaks that meant life to the Inuit in the Arctic for centuries have become the racing kayaks of the modern world, even if the building materials have changed. The link was 19th century British barrister John MacGregor. He studied the ancient kayaks, designed a similar boat, and disappeared into the rivers and lakes of Europe's wilderness to become a noted travel writer of his time. When others copied his boat, he founded the Royal Canoe Club, and canoe regattas began a year later, in 1866. Canoe Kayak, consisting solely of the sprint, was a demonstration competition at the 1924 Olympic Games, before gaining full medal status in 1936. Europe remains the traditional power base led by Germany, Sweden, and the countries of the former Soviet Union. Canoe kayak events are divided into two categories, whitewater and flatwater. The slalom events, involving men's K1, C1, and C2, and women's K1, denoting one or two paddlers in a canoe or kayak, require the paddlers to negotiate 20 to 25 gates in turbulent water over a 300-meter course. Competitors aim to complete the course in the shortest time, factoring in penalties. Now let's take a closer look at a few of the vocabulary items from today's lesson. 估计.
估计.
That's a guess or an estimate, a rough estimate. How would we use that in a phrase?
我估计他大概3点钟到. I estimate he'll be here about 3 o'clock.
Okay. And that's using it, of course, as a verb. It can also be used as a noun. For instance, 这是你的估计. That's your estimation. 这是你的估计. 逆流.
逆流.
逆流 is to go against the current. 逆 is the opposite direction. Now this can be used in a literal sense, like we're talking here with a canoe and kayak, or in a figurative sense, against the current of the times. Now what's the opposite of 逆流?
顺流.
顺流, to go with the flow.
With the flow.
Yeah, go with the flow or follow the current. 顺流. Here we have 逆流. 崇拜.
崇拜.
崇拜. Now pay attention to this character. It's pronounced in the second tone. 崇. 崇拜.
崇拜.
And that means to worship, either in a religious sense or just in the sense of you think really highly of someone. You look up to them. You 崇拜他们. You worship them. 崇拜. 遗憾.
遗憾.
It's unfortunate. It's a pity. 很遗憾.
遗憾.
封闭训练.
封闭训练.
封闭 literally means closed. So, literally, closed training. Training that's not open to the public. 封闭训练. 基地.
基地.
基地 is a base, like a 训练基地, a training base. Let's take a moment now to go over some of the grammatical points that we're focusing on in today's lesson. 估计 means to estimate or even to guess. 估计. For instance, we could say, 我估计他明天会来. I think he'll come tomorrow. I estimate or I guess, but I can't be sure. 我估计 I'll estimate, I guess 他明天会来 He'll come tomorrow. Let's see some of the ways they use 估计 in these dialogues.
南方还在下雨吗？
对，还在下。我估计这2天都晴不了。
你估计今天谁能得第1名？
我可说不准。
Okay, let's take a look at another grammatical point. 要知道 This is a way of emphasizing or stressing something that you want to mention that's important. For instance, 不要再批评他，要知道他已经很努力。Don't criticize him anymore. You should know that he's already working very hard or he's trying his best. 要知道 you really should know, you should be aware of this. Okay, let's see how they use 要知道 in these dialogues.
为什么你总是看关于篮球的报道？
要知道，这可是我最喜欢的体育项目了。你知道休斯敦火箭队吗？
不知道，怎么了？
你怎么会不知道？要知道，那个是姚明效力的球队。
Okay, now let's look at a third point. 要不要 This is a very simple way of asking a question. Do you want or not? Would you like? For instance, we could say 下午没事儿，要不要休息一会儿？ There's nothing this afternoon. Would you like to rest a while? 要不要休息一会儿？ Okay, let's see some of the many ways you can use 要不要 in these dialogues.
这个体育馆你自己能找到吗？要不要我开车送你去？
好啊，太谢谢了。
Okay, that's all the time we have for today. We look forward to seeing you here next time on Sports Chinese. Bye for now.